Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. The GABA fever is slowly coming down, but it's still there. We're still in a daze. I have with me my co-host, Mr. Aziz. How are you doing, man? Still recovering from the test series?
Absolutely, bro. It's been quite something. I've been thinking about it every day since it's happened as well.
It's one of the miraculous days in our lives. The unbelievable series. We'll be remembering it for the longest time. I think it was incredible. But with this Indian team and cricket in general now, the games are coming thick and fast. There's going to be a new series now. India coming back home. They're going to be playing England. England currently in Sri Lanka, but they'll be flying there to India. This is their winter
Shortly.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the winter season, so they'll be traveling at the subcontinent and everything. So. Your initial thoughts going into this series? India will be on a high. Some big names coming back. There's going to be huge selection headaches for India. Firstly, your thoughts on India, then we can move on to England.
100%. I mean, selection headaches it's a good headache to have, no doubt about that. But I think that what this Indian team has performed in Australia will never be forgotten. I mean, it was just incredible, of course. But I think they will go back to the big guns. I think Virat, Bumrah, Ishant, all these guys will probably get their spot back pretty easily. And it's in India, so they'll probably likely play two spinners. And with Jaddu being out, it's a possibility that they will go with Kuldeep and Ash as the main spinners.
Hmm.
But I think, yeah, what they achieved in Australia will just will mainly be the confidence factor. But I don't think that some of the players that probably play the third and the fourth test will probably get a chance. You already saw that Natu's been arrested. You already saw that Saini was of course injured, so he's not been picked and stuff like that. So I think the big guns will come back and make it only a stronger team. I mean, those guys have been tried and tested over there in those areas, and it's a pretty straightforward situation for India. They get their brightest players back, they get their best players back, and all these guys are going to be sitting in the wings just waiting for their opportunity whenever they get a chance.
Yeah, but these players will be on the toes. Someone like Ishant Sharma, he knows that he's getting older. There's a lot of young players behind him now. So these guys will be very, the big guns who are coming back, they will be very, especially like even the bowlers as well. They will know that this youngsters coming up. And anytime there's like probably a decline in form, a few matches here and there, their spot can be under threat because of the amount of competition now.
100%. I mean, it's like I said, it's always a good headache to have, and it always keeps it brings out the best in players. I think honestly, excel. They'll want to excel in whatever opportunities they get. Of course, the big guys also, like you said, someone like an Ishant Sharma, who's probably playing after a long break, will want to get going really quickly because he knows that the likes of Siraj, Nattu, Shardul, all these guys are just waiting right behind him. As soon as he like falters in a couple of games, with Virat Kohli, you know that he won't get too many chances if he's gonna falter. They will get fresh and young blood in, so it's good. It'll keep everyone on their toes. It'll keep the performance levels high, which is always good for Indian cricket, right?
Yeah, and you mentioned Virat Kohli, so that was my next question. We all know his stature and everything. He is the captain now. He's named captain. So that rules out a lot of debate. Like we could have asked more questions and stuff, but now we know this is the thing. But
Yeah.
what I wanted to ask you is, look, as a batsman, he performed in Adelaide. He scored 70. He got run out. He could have scored 100. So we know that
Yeah.
his performance is there. But as captain, they lost that test match. They've lost a series in New Zealand. They lost one in South Africa and one in England. So how much pressure does that put on Virat Kohli? Of course, like I'm sure, like he has the backing of the team management of everybody like that. But and he won't even show that pressure. But do you think there is pressure in him? Yes, it's at the end of the day, it's a team game, and it's not just one player or one guy winning it. But Rahane has done such a beautiful job for India. There will be questions as this guy will be under the pump if something even goes like minuscule wrong, right? Like even if it's like a one test match, even if they draw it or lose at home, there'll be a lot of pressure on him. So how much pressure do you think, like, and how will he handle it?
Look, he's
Tough
he's a
question,
champion.
huh?
He's a champion batsman. Yeah, he's a champion batsman. There's no denying
Yeah,
that.
there's no doubt.
Uh,
Yeah.
and and look, I've actually been thinking about this, and this is an incredible Indian performance, right? It was,
Yeah.
yes, it was without Virat Kohli, but this has been his team for a few years now. It's very harsh to just take him out
But when
in the
you
way
say
that
that, I'm sorry, I'm just playing devil's
yeah, yeah,
advocate. There's nothing like, I agree with what you're saying. But when I had a question when you said it's his team, right? What do you mean by that? Because the likes of Pujara, Rahane, Shami, Jadeja, Ashwin, all these guys debuted under Dhoni, and then Natarajan, Siraj, and Washington Sundar and Shardul Thakur. Maybe like technically they debuted under Rahane. So what do you mean by his team? Do you mean that he's been captain for the last 2 years, or do you like what do you? I know this is a different way to look at it, but I really wanted to ask this question.
No, but yeah, fair point. I mean, for the past almost 6-7 years now, he's been the captain of the Test side.
Yeah.
Dhoni retired from ODIs only recently, of course, comparatively. But I think the Test side, he's nurtured these guys. I mean, he's made Jasprit Bumrah look the standout bowler. He's given those chances to Ishant. Shami has kind of revolutionized himself under Virat. The likes of Pujara have really cemented their spot in under not necessarily I guess cemented their spot under Virat. Rohit Sharma is looking the part. No, I can't say that these guys are being under Virat per se, but these guys have cemented their place and they've performed time and again, and they deserve that kind of those spots. But they have been given some kind of backing by Virat. I mean, it's I think
100%, especially the way he's got the fast bowlers in. I think that's all Virat Kohli's work. Like emphasis on fast bowlers.
And it would be very, very harsh to remove him from captaincy or even talk on those terms, just because I mean what I feel genuinely could be different, but like as a team, it's not the right call to take to just remove a captain who's been captaining this side for 5-7 years on the basis of one series, one. And two, I guess at this moment in time with Test cricket, with ODI cricket, there's a group of leaders, right? Like you see the likes of Rohit Sharma has evolved as a captain very well. Rahane did a great job. These guys will be there to aid Virat. If Virat's making, and as long as Virat's listening to them in situations
that's important
where it's needed, I think it's fine. As long as Virat is doing that, that's great. And I think that he is a smart guy. I think he will understand that yes, without him, they did an incredible job, and I think he will understand that. And I think he will go to the likes of Rahane, Pujara, Rohit for any kind of ideas. And if they have any ideas, they should be in a position to tell those ideas to him, and he should be he should be humble enough to understand it and accept it, which I think he will, and because he's seen what they can do without him as well. So I'm sure he'll understand. But he is an incredible player. It would be very harsh to just kick him out like this. I mean, yes.
No, I don't mean like kick him out right now. Like, I mean, right now, it was obvious that he was going to come back. But my question was basically if they do lose this series, or if they draw this series, or if there's some issue in the captaincy in this series, how much pressure will it be on him? Because there's a World Test Championship coming, waiting. And if you have Australia waiting at Lords, then everyone's gonna look at Rahane as an option who's already been there, done that now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. But at the same time, you have to think that I was reading a tweet by Boria Majumdar, I think it was, who said that that like I was kind of mentioning, right, that these guys are all leaders and they bring in these younger players. Let everyone have let's not destroy the team that we have that has done so well by creating all these kind of unnecessary issues for Virat. Yes, Virat will have a little bit of pressure, but let's give him time to figure it out. Let's give him time to settle down and just do what he does best, which is bat well and captain well.
It's very interesting because I think also personality-wise, these are the calls they'll have to make. Because if you flip the argument, right? I completely agree with you. But if you flip the argument, Rahane, what has Rahane done wrong for him not to be captain in the next series? I understand that there's already a captain there, but if you just look at it in isolation, right? There will be. I mean, if you look at from Rahane is the type of guy, he's not going to think like this. We're just we're putting it out there, but he's not going to think that okay, fine, I did this. How come I'm not captain? He's not going to think like that. He's going to look at the team, and to be honest, if like he might even be thinking that there's less pressure on him, right? Like he did his job, and now there's no scrutiny. He did his job. He did what was asked for now, and he can always guide Virat Kohli. He's the vice captain of the team, so he's the member of the leadership group, and I'm sure Virat Kohli is a type of guy who will go to him for advice. He will 100%. We've seen him go to Dhoni for advice, and now he will go to Rahane. I'm sure. Absolutely. I'm sure about that. But it's just if you just flip the argument from Rahane's point of view, he might not feel bad about it, but if you just look at it from there, it's like, oh, this guy just won a series in Australia and now he's become vice captain.
Yeah, I think Rahane, like you said, he won't think like that. And Rahane is the kind of player he will he will go back to focusing on his batting. He will go back to trying to score those big runs for India.
Now, if there's another player, I don't know exactly who, but if there's another player who's a bit more aggressive and mentality, this and that, then there might have been an issue.
I guess so, but at the same time, I don't think so. I mean, if anyone's expecting to completely get the full control of a team on the
Mm,
basis of one series, I think that's
mm.
dumbfounded. I think that you have to time and again perform. Maybe he gets another chance
Yeah, yeah.
over the next 2 years. God forbid, you don't want an injury on anyone, but maybe Virat has an injury or something, and then he continues to do well or
Mm.
something like that. Then we can have that discussion. I think on the basis of one series, it's just too early to make
100%.
those kind of calls. So
100%.
that's
Yeah,
just what I
100%.
feel.
So he'll be leading. And I mean, like, I think the series is going to be amazing. And Virat Kohli has a lot of talent now to play with. There's people coming back from injury. How do you see this Indian team setting up differently to Australia? Because it's not just injuries or anything, it's also the conditions will be different. It'll be more conducive to spin. We've seen India play two spinners in Australia. Will they play three in India?
I think they will. I think they will go with three spinners in India, or at least they'll go with two full-time spinners.
Yeah.
In terms of Kuldeep and Ashwin, so I feel like Rohit and Gill will continue to open Pujara at three,
Rohit, Gill,
Virat at four.
Pujara,
Yeah,
Kohli
Rohit
at
Gill,
four.
Pujara, Kohli at four, Jinx at five,
Yeah.
Pant at six,
Yeah.
and then if Hardik will give you enough with the ball, if he can bowl as well, then I'll take Hardik at seven, and then I go with Ashwin, Kuldeep. Um, I get Ashwin, Kuldeep, Bumrah, and Ishant to finish it off. That's kind of how I will
Yeah.
set up.
And if
And in the middle,
Hardik
if
doesn't play,
Hardik
you
is
play
not gonna, yeah,
Washington
I
or
play Washington over there. Yeah, I play Washington over there, and then I can consider bringing in Shardul for Kuldeep, or a Siraj for Kuldeep, depending on how I feel about the pitch and stuff like that.
yeah.
So
But in
that's
general, we've seen in India like two pacers are generally the thing.
more
But
than enough.
but
Yeah,
you would rather want Hardik Pandya as well, like as a third.
just as an extra, extra paceman, and
But
then you
he'll
can
yeah.
give, you can give Ash and Kuldeep at 8 and 9 enough to bowl. I would easily get Jaddu in at 7, but Jaddu isn't available for the first two tests,
Yeah.
so that makes it just a little bit harder. But I think Ash and Kuldeep is probably 8 and 9 for me.
Like you said, it's too early to say from one series, but Shardul Thakur could be Hardik Pandya's replacement in test matches if he's not fit,
Yeah.
when Hardik is not fit.
Yeah, I think so. I think like we already also mentioned that if he can continue to develop the way he has been, and if he can get some consistency in his batting and in
Hazelwood,
his
Cummins,
bowling.
Lyon, Stark. He hit Cummins for the for a six,
Oh
so
no,
his first scoring
absolutely,
run. So
absolutely.
I
I
mean,
mean,
there is
there's no
talent there,
denying.
but
Yeah,
he needs to keep
consistency.
consistent. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If he can continue to do that in first class cricket, also it's going to be a little bit difficult, like I said, because he got the opportunity only because some of the big shots were missing, and those big shots haven't done anything wrong except for getting injured to be very harsh on them. So they will get that chance if there is a little bit of a problem in terms of not being able to perform. Then I think, of course, these guys will be given a chance. So I think that's kind of how I expect the team to set up. I think that Kuldeep and Ash will be your frontline spinners. You can either bring Washi at 7, or you play Hardik, which is my preferred guy. I would rather play Hardik, but I think Hardik should at least be able to give me about 8-10 overs
Mm.
minimum. At least he gives me about 10 overs when the like from the 60th to the 80th. He should be able to bowl like two spells of five overs or so, or like from the 50th to the 80th. I mean, so like just so that we can keep the faster bowlers fresh when the new ball is available and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
something like that would have to happen.
Yeah, and I think now when we look at this England side right now, I think a very important thing is Virat Kohli is going to be fresh, both as captain
Yeah.
and as batsman, because this
Yeah.
is not going to be an England team which will lie down, right? This is a really good team, and they do have horses for courses. They have some spinners there. They have the batsmen as well. They have someone like a Ben Stokes can perform anywhere, and they have experience of IPL. So yes, it's a different ball, it's a different format, but they played in these conditions before. So
Right.
this England team will be better prepared than previously probably, and someone like a Virat Kohli will, I think he'll play an important role both as captain and with the bat as well, because if he can perform and make hundreds, it'll put a lot of pressure on England.
Oh, absolutely. I agree 100%. And in terms of English preparation, they've played Sri Lanka just now, so similar
Yes.
conditions almost. So then they're already coming somewhat prepared. They'll play. They will be ready for these kind of conditions, which is good for them, and it's good for cricket in general. They'll be. It won't be like a simple game for India. They will be ready, and also you've noticed they have two spinners who've been doing well recently in terms of Jack Leach and Tom Best.
Tom Best,
Both of
yeah.
them have been performing decent. Yeah, both of them
And
have been
Moeen Ali
performing
is going to
decently.
come back as well.
And yeah, Moeen Ali is also back in the squad. So they have that kind of experience in the squad. the spin department on day 4 and 5 in Indian pitches where it tends to spin a lot. So that they have those options available. It's just a matter of utilizing them accurately and having those kind of right plans, which is what Australia missed. They didn't have the right kind of plans. So the England need to just have the right plans and try to execute them as best as possible. Sometimes you will of course fail, but I think that this team is experienced enough, is smart enough to make those plans and then try to execute them. And they are, like you said, they are in the batting department as well. The likes of Butler, Stokes, all these guys have played in the IPL, so they're pretty good. Archer for the bat, Joe Root is an absolute class player. So these guys are all experienced now. So it's going to be a fun, interesting contest. It's not going to be significant advantage to any side at any given point.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think the way they've set up in Sri Lanka, like Anderson and Broad don't play together, like when away
Yeah.
from home. I think
Yeah.
they play one because of the conditions, and then
Yeah.
they have a fast bowler like in Mark Wood. Then they have an all rounder, probably a Ben Stokes, because there's no Sam Curran in this.
Yeah.
Where he's,
Which is
all,
surprising. And no Sam Curran, no Johnny Bairstow. Was something to do with injuries?
No, Sam Curran's playing right now in Sri Lanka. I think they just
They're just resting him there.
yeah, because of the COVID issues and everything. I think they they didn't play Ben Stokes, and I think Chris Stokes also is not playing this series, if
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
yeah.
So I think they're bringing them in and then leaving these two guys out.
Yeah.
It could just be because of the COVID, and they want to have like a larger squad and like not play everyone every single series. It could be that. But yeah, I'll have to do a bit more investigation on that because Sam Curran's playing right now, so I don't think
Yeah.
it's to do with injury. But so they'll have a attack like that where they'll have a fast bowler, a swingish bowler, and then a
Yeah.
all-rounder. Then they'll have two spinners, and then if Moeen Ali plays, they could practically be three spinners as well. So
Yeah.
if you're looking at the pitches and stuff, India probably won't look to make it turn from day one. They probably have those more
They'll
traditional
want- yeah.
Indian pitches where
And
bat first, and then good batting pitch, and then slowly start turning.
yeah. And that's why I want Hardik Pandya, because the first 2-3 days it'll be crucial, at least, especially in the first innings of any of the England batting innings. We'll need Hardik Pandya to come in and give those 8, 10, 12 overs and also be able to maybe pick up a wicket or two in the process. So that's why I'd expect Hardik Pandya. And then the big 40-50 overs from Ash and Kuldeep in the second half of the innings, in the second innings will be what I'll be looking at as a plan to go forward for this team, because even England will be well equipped, so you don't want to like give them rank turners from like day one or something of the sort.
Yeah, and do you think this Indian team? There was criticism before, like Moeen Ali used to pick wickets. Lyon picked a lot of wickets against India, but we saw this series against Australia. They just they didn't give Lyon anything to play for. They attacked him, picked runs off him. He didn't get that many wickets. I think 7, 8 wickets, and that too like 2 in the last over of the game or second last over of the game. So do you think India is playing spin better these days? And this team, which started off in 2013-14, like the core Pujara, Rahane, Virat Kohli, now they've just come to grips with playing spin, and they're playing better because they weren't as good maybe 3-4 years ago. Like they used to get dismissed against spinners.
So if you're being fair, traditionally though, it's just a matter of India have been very good spinners, players spin. I think in the middle they just got lost in terms of less application. I don't think that these
maybe they're focusing more on pacers because they were playing pacers comfortably with the short ball and everything.
Yeah,
Kohli
I think it's more about the application. I just think that they lost it in the middle because of the IPL and stuff like that. They were not able to figure it out. But I think that they've now understood and they've applied themselves more. I don't think that any of these guys are bad players or spin at any point in time. It's just a matter of losing focus and maybe they were playing a lot of cricket. Maybe they come in from a one day and without any practice going to test matches, and that's why they were susceptible to some of the red ball spin and something of the sort. But I think that they've just understood. They've applied themselves more. The fact that unfortunately now that Pujara, Rahane, these guys don't play one-day cricket helps, and Virat is just a great batsman. So that middle order is starting to look and score those runs and stuff like that. So I think that's more what it was in my personal opinion. But I could be wrong. But I just feel like the application is what was missing, and I think that it's come back now, especially with this win. Also now it just gives them that confidence, the
extra boost.
That confidence now is what they need, and I think that they'll do well. I am not worried about them at all.
Yeah, and the players to watch out from each team.
Ben Stokes and Rishabh Pant. Now
Rishabh
he's my
Pant.
favorite player.
And interesting, Rishabh Pant doesn't really play test matches in India. Like
I think
normally we
he'll play.
see
I think that
now
the debate
there's
is done.
no, yeah.
It's done.
But it's interesting because Ridhiman Saha does take the gloves.
Yeah.
So I think this is where I hope Rishabh Pant will improve as a keeper. I think it, and I read somewhere as well that Saha is technically he is the best keeper in India. He's probably one of the best keepers in
Yeah.
the world, like just keeping wise. But you have to also see he's 36, 37. India in the future, they don't have like right now red ball keepers, so they need to develop Pant. So we already seen what he can do with the bat. Now I think these kind of pitches, if he can, even if he drops a few here and there, I think he'll learn a lot from it, and I think he can become a better keeper coming out of this series.
Absolutely. I think just stick with him. He'll drop a few. It'll be unfortunate, but he'll drop a few. Hopefully, it won't be too much, too
And he'll
painful
learn
for.
from it, hopefully.
And he'll definitely learn from it. So
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it at all. But yeah, I think I'm trying to just see who they'll play as their preferred 11. I'm trying to think. It's probably Dom Sibley and Zach Crawley probably open.
Yeah.
It depends on, because they don't have any Johnny Best anymore. So maybe I don't know if Rory Burns comes in and plays at that spot at 3, and
Or
then
Ollie Stone, maybe.
Ollie Stone maybe at 3, and then they play Joe Root, of course, at 4. They play Stokes at 5, and they play who's that middle order batsman that they have? Dan Lawrence at 6. Dan Lawrence at 5, and then Stokes at 6, and then they go Butler at 7, and then they have the 4 bowlers play Chris Wokes, Jimmy Anderson, Dom Bess, and Zach Leach.
They could also play Ben Foakes instead of one of the batsmen instead of Lawrence, and he can keep the wickets because he's also had a really good record in the subcontinent.
Yeah.
So they might.
So they have a
could
few
play,
options over
yeah,
there.
or
So
they can play Moeen Ali, and they have an extra spinner. So
at that spinner, yeah, for sure, 100%.
So they actually have good options, I think.
So so instead of Dan Lawrence, they can either go with Foakes, or they could go with Moeen Ali, because it's already at 6-7, and Moeen Ali can give you give you something with the bat as well. So yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I think they will have. Yeah, they will have.
I just feel like they'll go with a more traditional batsman, because Stokes will give you a few overs with the ball, and they have 4 good bowlers in terms of the majority of the bowling as well. In terms of with Wokes, Anderson, Tom Bess, and Jack Leach. So.
Yeah.
And Dom Bess is a decent batsman, so he's no mug with a bat. So
yeah, he's a decent batsman. I think this ongoing series with Sri Lanka, you can watch that closely. You'll get a good feeling of how they're going to perform. But it's going to be completely different in India. Yeah, you'll have similar conditions maybe here and there, but it's a different team, different
quality. Unfortunately, Sri Lankan quality has deteriorated. They have only a few players of mention. But I think this Indian quality in the home ground, I think these guys will be a tough nut to crack for England. So England will have their work cut out. And in terms of India, I think it's just a matter of focusing and trying to continue to do what they've been doing well, apply themselves, try to get those big scores, and bowl the opposition out for cheap. And now my prediction is 4-0 India.
By the way, if we just go back and see, you said 2-1 India.
I did, remember? I did say 2-1 India.
For the Australia-India series.
But I was being biased at the time, I told you.
I said, I don't know what I said. I think a draw or something, but then I said 4-0 Australia after the Adelaide. But I was so happy to be proven wrong. And your predictions are doing well. So I think whatever you say might happen. And it's about, I think the thing is, if India play to potential, it's going to be very difficult to beat them. 100%. I'm also going for the India win. But at the same time, you don't want to take this England team lightly. It's a very cliche thing to say, but this particular England team has match winners. The likes of Joe Root, Ben Stokes, Archer is back in the squad. I forgot about Archer.
Archer.
So instead of Wood, maybe Archer will play, right? So they have some match winners there. So and it's not like India's going to take them lightly. India will be there, but
Mark Wood isn't in the team. Chris Wokes is in the team. I didn't even have him in 11.
Mark Wood is not there. He's there in Sri Lanka. That's why I got confused. So this is actually a solid team, and
100%.
It's not that it's not like India will have to play their game. That's it, right? But now it'll depend on England. England will. Let's see how much pressure they can put on India. I think that's how it's going to be.
I honestly don't think it'll be 4-0. I actually think that England will probably nick a game. But I think that I think all 4 games will have results unless there's some significant rain.
How important is the toss? Because in Australia, I thought it was really important, but whoever lost it won. Yeah, whoever lost it won.
But I think in India it'll be more important. I think to bat first in the first couple of days when the pitch holds up, because batting fourth in India would be very, very difficult, especially if you have like quality spinners in Ashwin and Kuldeep, or Jaddu for that matter, whoever, if they want to bring Washi in as well.
Unless you bat really big in your first innings batting second.
Yeah, unless you do that, but
There
that's
was a
not going to
game
be
where
easy.
England made 400, India made 600. Do you remember
Yeah,
Karuna triple hundred? I think.
it's not going to be easy. I think it's going to be I don't think that. I think all 4 games will provide results if there's no rain delays, because I
And
think
it's
that
in your
bowling is
hometown,
improved.
so like a dry pitch. It might
My
turn
hometown,
in
yeah,
Chennai.
sure,
Chennai, the
sure.
first game, the first game.
Yeah, sure, absolutely, my hometown.
So
But yeah, no, I think
we'll
I think
get the
that
weather report and pitch report from you as the time
I,
comes.
as soon as the day before, we'll find out from some of my friends over there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You'll never let that one go, will you?
But yeah, so these conditions, like in Chennai especially, there will be turn. I'm 100%, but
Oh,
it's just
absolutely,
a
and
matter
that's
of
why
time.
batting first would probably be very, very, very useful for any team, because day 4 and 5 batting would be very, very difficult. Because
Yeah.
in Chennai, from day one you see fair amount of turn, and by day 5 it's just a matter of like it's ranked turner by the day 5. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be
and in both teams, you think England will definitely do it? I think they will swap the likes of Broad, Anderson, and stuff. India, do you think would you probably see Siraj coming into the series at some point, because of like it's going to be a 4-match series, so you of course you might want to rotate your players.
100%, especially with the likes of Ishant trying to like keep himself fit for a couple more years if he wants to. He won't be able to play 4 games in a row, like the IPL's right after as well. He'll want to be fit for that team for the IPL as well. So he probably play 2, maybe 3 games, and then give one to Siraj, maybe the fourth or the third, depending on how he feels and stuff like that.
Yeah. In
Bumrah will
hindsight,
probably play 4. I think
yeah.
Bumrah will probably play all. So
You
we'll
think
see
so?
how that goes. Yeah.
In hindsight, just to end the show, like in hindsight, actually the injuries probably were a blessing in disguise for India, because this is going to be 4 again back-to-back series. So, and then you have the likes of Kohli, Ishant, who will be fresh. So you'll have some really fresh players there. So I think that helps India going into this
Yeah, and the
series.
likes of Bhumi and Ashwin also, like coming in after a little bit of a break, trying to like whatever niggles they had, hopefully that's been cleared out. The likes of Kuldeep, who's hardly had a game in a long time, so he'll probably be raring to go, trying to make most of the chance that he gets. So absolutely some good fresh players, about 4 or 5 decently fresh players. Hopefully Puji is recovered from all those blows that he's received, unfortunately. So he comes in, he gives us that nice little score in the middle. So yeah, you're looking good for. I can't wait for the series, to be very honest. I just can't like. Hopefully, Feb 4th comes fast and we can start seeing cricket again.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll build up to the series for sure, and we'll look at for the other series as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I think it was a really good conversation. We analyzed a lot, and hopefully there'll be more analysis as time goes by.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much, and take care. Have a good night.
You as well. Take care.
Thank you.